morning. Breakfast with the Mayors. If you want to come on over, if you're standing in the back, hey, come on over. There's seats at tables up front. You can come on over here. We would love to have you. It's going to be a great, great day. Mindy, I'm excited about today. You excited?
It's a great crowd.
It's a great crowd. Everybody talking, which is wonderful to have that kind of community. But I'm going to pray for us, and then we're going to get started. I'm Jeff Simmons. I'm the senior pastor here at Rolling Hills Community Church, and so grateful to be able to host Breakfast with the Mayors and what God's doing through Franklin tomorrow. I love our city, and we are so blessed to be able to live here. So let me say a word of blessing as we start today. Let me pray for us right now. Father God, thank you so much for today. Thank you for this beautiful time of year, Father. God, we live in such a magnificent place, and I just thank you for our leaders. I pray, Father, in this election season, God, that people would get out and vote. I thank you for all of our elected officials. I thank you, Father, for the way they serve you, and I pray, God, that you bless them with wisdom, God, and use them in a great way. Bless their decisions that they make because they impact all of us. Father, I pray for our first responders. I pray for our teachers. We are so blessed to live here in Williamson County, to live here in Franklin, and God, we give you all the glory. Thank you for our mayors. God, be with them, Mayor Anderson, Mayor Moore, and bless them today, and thank you for our time and all the leaders that are in this room. To you be glory, Father, forever and ever. In the name of Jesus we pray, amen.
Amen. Thanks so much, Jeff. Thanks so much for being here this morning. We've got plenty of room at these tables. You know, Teresa, I can see the sea of green out there a little bit, right?
Yes, absolutely. And there's plenty of seats up front.
Yeah, plenty of seats up front, even some in the middle, but none in the back. We want you to come on up so we can get started and stay on time this morning. So thank you for being here. I'm Mindy Tate, CEO of Franklin Tomorrow.
And I am Teresa Ashworth Harris, board chair of Franklin Tomorrow.
Okay, guys. I can't whistle, but we're going to keep talking, and hopefully we'll talk louder. Hopefully we'll talk louder than the rest of you. How about that? So, Teresa, we've had a lot of people this morning, a lot of elected officials and candidates I saw this morning, so that's great.
We have, and it's exciting, and this is our final Breakfast with the Mayors for 2024. So we thank you all for being here. And
I see some people over there. I see State Senator Jack Johnson is here, and Representative Jake McCalman was here. Because it's a week before Election Day, even though Jack's not on the ballot this time, but it's all good to have him here
as
well. That's true.
And I have to mention my friend Jason Potts. He and I are on the same team in Leadership Franklin this year, so shout out to Jason this morning.
Yeah.
As well as Brian Clifford on the County Commission. We're all buddies this year.
Yeah, because you're doing Leadership Franklin. That's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got a full agenda this morning, so we want to go ahead and get started by thanking some of our sponsors. It is always great to have wonderful partners, and we especially appreciate those who help us put on this event so that you can attend for free. In 2024, our presenting partners have been Pinnacle Financial Partners, as well as Gresham Smith, and they are a co-presenting partner with us. Let's thank them for their representation and for supporting us. We also want to thank Williamson Health and Atmos Energy, who have been 2024 sustaining partners. Let's thank them as well.
And I think we have a video from Williamson Health. Can we play that at this time? That'd be great.
I know the doctors at Bone and Joint very well.
Concussion, broken elbow, broken shin.
Mac has been very tough. He's played football starting at a very young age. This is the day when he made the official school football team.
When I first saw Mac and his elbow, unfortunately he did have a displaced fracture, and so I knew that he was going to need surgery.
I went to rehab, and it was fun. They made it fun. What was cool to kind of see my progression.
The Williamson Health athletic trainers have been very beneficial with Mac in helping him through his injuries that he's had. Very responsive, very supportive. and very quick to comfort us as parents.
The athletic trainers with Williamson Health work with us really closely, and it allows us to have eyes and ears on the ground, and not only coordinating the actual care of the athletes on the field, but coordinating the care and follow-up as well.
I travel a lot for work, so a lot of this I get through telephone calls and texts. The people who are at the school responsible for him, the docs that are responsible for him, he's in good hands.
One of the great things between the partnership between Williamson Health and the Bone and Joint is our ability to care for the community. It gives us a lot of pride knowing that we not only take care of the community, but we're a part of the community as well.
I was so grateful to have you guys so close and to have a comfort to know that our son was going to be okay and that Williamson Health was right there, very fast, very quick, very convenient, very efficient. They got my son all in one piece from head to toe, literally. So thank you for taking care of him.
You are welcome.
Star of that video right here in the front row, Denise Demirs with Simmons Bank.
Yes, absolutely. So also thanking a few other partners. We've got platinum partners for 2024, UHY Audit, Advisory, and Tax Consulting, First Bank, and Hazen and Sawyer. We also need to thank Vulcan Materials Company, Williamson Memorial Funeral Home and Cremation Services.
Thank you so much to all our partners.
Yes, thank you.
They help us keep this event free to you to attend. And thank you this morning to Puckett's Grocery and Restaurant for the fabulous breakfast, full breakfast this morning. And Terry Remke and Lion Leadership Group, who are the local McDonald's franchisee, for the coffee. We really appreciate that. Now, there's plenty of seats up here. You know, we had tables because you were going to eat this big breakfast this morning, but we want to get you up here and get you started and seated. But we've had a busy couple weeks, haven't we, Teresa?
We have. We have had a very busy October. Some of you, I know I've seen in the room this morning, joined us earlier this month for our 3-day Vision City Conference. First time we've done that. The organization Franklin Tomorrow has gone on Vision City trips other places to learn from other cities about how they do things and things, and looking for things that we might learn for doing things better. But this time around, we decided, because so many people like to come to Franklin and learn from what we do as a city, we decided to do this 3-day conference. And we had a group of designers and planners, as well as economic developers, who joined us. About a few over 150 joined us for the conference, and we had an excellent opportunity to interact, network, and learn from each other during those 3 days.
And a big thank you to our partner in presenting that with Seaside Institute, but also to the City of Franklin, Atmos Energy, Tennessee Valley Authority, and Reagan Smith, which is a Pape Dawson company, for helping us present this series, which was focused on how history impacts the future. It's one of the few things we do every year that wasn't free, but thanks to the City of Franklin's participation, you can see many of the sessions that relate to Franklin on the YouTube channel. We have a slide, but you can search the City of Franklin YouTube and look for Vision City Conference, and there are 6 or 7 videos there from the different presentations, all of which are excellent, and we encourage you, if you're interested in design and the urban planning and the future of our city, take a look at those videos and you'll enjoy them, I think.
Absolutely. We also have our next Frank Talks coming up next Monday, November the 4th. We usually have it on the second Monday, so make sure you mark your calendars. It's this coming Monday, November the 4th. It is a monthly lecture series, and this month we're going to be at Brightstone, which is on Columbia Avenue, and we'll have an excellent program there. We have a QR code up on the screen. You can scan that QR code and register to join us next Monday.
It's a beautiful 160-acre campus, just 3 miles south of here, basically, so easy to get to. And I assure you, if you attend, You're going to leave uplifted, and your blood pressure will be lower because it's such a beautiful place to visit and filled with such happy people. So we're excited to be there. And then finally, a big congratulations to Williamson County Mayor Rogers Anderson, who last week was honored by the Tennessee County Services Association as Mayor of the Year. Let's give him a round of applause. Very well deserving. Rogers is serving his 6th term as county mayor, and we congratulate him on his dedicated service and his impact as a public service. So, Teresa, we better get started.
That's right, we better. And as we do that, we will begin by playing a video produced by Franklin First United Methodist Church, which was founded in October of 1799. Along with Williamson County and Franklin. We are all celebrating birthdays this month, 225 years. So after the video, we will be joined by our panelists. So you guys come up as soon as the video is ending.
Great, thank you so
well,
much.
As
thank
the
you,
city
Teresa.
of Franklin, we're one of the most desirable places for people to live, work, raise their family. And I think that started 225 years ago. Our community was founded. It was founded by people that had a vision. It was founded by people that had faith.
When Franklin was started as a town in 1799 and was established, and it was written into the charter that there would be a meeting place for the Methodist, and the unique place for this church to have been a part of the community from the very beginning, and to think that those of us that are here now, looking back and celebrating 225 years, we've been the ones that have had the gift of being a part of that history.
Communities were built around the church and that activity of that church. They had all kinds of different social economics that played into the church, and it still plays there today.
I think the faith community is part of what makes Franklin such a uniquely special place. If you walk down Main Street, it's anchored on every side by a church of different denominations, and the fact that we can all be here and live here together and share some common values, I think speaks to the kind of place that this is built on, and it has continued to be part of what attracts people here as well.
And we've had to grow. Not just in number, but we've had to grow in friendship, and we've had to grow in spirit, and we've had to grow in nimbleness.
We are a community made up of great diversity of age. Williamson County has had, for the last 15 to 20 years, one of the lowest unemployments in the entire state of Tennessee. Most of the individuals that live here are very highly educated, and they have a drive and a quest for their kids following in the footsteps of being able to continue on with their education.
It's interesting as we head into 225 years, some of the other anniversaries worth talking about this fall include the 160th anniversary of the Battle of Franklin, which had a profound impact in shaping our country and our community. And I think because we have been so intentional about telling the full story of our history as a place, looking at the fuller story of slavery through the war, through modern day, it has made it an even more interesting place to visit, because it's not everywhere that you can get such an honest, raw view of the history. What I think has been incredibly special in this community is that we don't shy away from talking about it, and I think I'm really proud to be in a place where we talk about the ugly parts of history because they happened, and it's important for us to understand how and why that happened so that we can, make some peace and move forward in ways that are different.
In communities that are doing well, in communities that are even fluent, one of the challenges that sometimes arises is that it gets easier and easier to overlook those who aren't experiencing that kind of affluence. It falls often to the faith community to recognize and to even shine a light on those who are struggling.
You know, I couldn't start to name all the programs our church has that fill in gaps that there is no one else to provide that service. And I see that in a lot of other nonprofits in our city, that they fill in gaps that the city does not have the capacity to do.
What we're really going for is just taking care of one another and recognizing the gift it is to be in a place that is prosperous, that people want to come and live in, while not forgetting that in many cases there are folks who've been here for generations.
I think the future is bright for the Franklin First United Methodist Church. We're feeding the hungry, we're taking care of the downtrodden, and people are finding Jesus through our church.
Pastorally, I have kind of learned through the years to not make growth itself such a focus. God gives the growth. Now, it also happens to be my experience that when a congregation is healthy and in sync with what God is doing in the world, growth almost always naturally follows, both in terms of the number of people involved in the life of the congregation, but in the depth of those people's lives with God.
My hope is that in 5 years or 10 years, the things that make us special today, the sense of community, of caring, of support, of interest and investment in history and sense of place, that doesn't change in 5 years or 10 years. It's how do we help the people who are new and growing and visiting and living here to appreciate and become part of the fabric of who we are, so that growth is really about sustaining what makes us special.
I think if I'm looking in a crystal ball and trying to say what's going to happen in the next 225 years, our community's going to grow. We'll have some arguments, we'll have some disagreements, politicians will come and go, so will ministers. But at the end of the day, it's the bedrock, it's the cornerstone of most communities, or your local involvement. And hopefully we stay connected the way we have for the last 225 years.
Thank you, and I have our mayors and our panelists come and join us on stage. Rogers usually likes that chair on the end, but we'll come on down. Come on, don't leave me down here. Don't leave me hanging down here. You know, there's plenty of room. I think there's plenty of room. Jimmy, be over here with Matt, maybe if you want. Yeah, be great. So the girls section. Yeah, we weren't segregating anyone, but. So Rogers, since you've got the big honor last week, anything to tell us what's going on in the county quickly?
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you all for the recognition, but I'm a little humbled when I have to acknowledge things like that, because it's really all your people and all of the work around you, and you promote your ideas and thoughts, but thank you very much. So on 11/11, just in a couple of weeks, not quite 2 weeks, we're having the Veterans Day parade, and I wish you would put that on your calendar. It's very unusual in a county to have 3 elected people that are mayors. Spring Hill, Ken, and myself are all veterans of the armed services. So with that in mind, I know in a crowd this large, if you're a veteran, would you please stand so we can give you recognition for this particular day? And Mindy, if I could follow up, thank you for your service, and as we say, welcome home. This year's Veterans Parade we'll have 3 grand marshals. We have the Korean era, the Vietnam era, and the Desert Storm era. And 2 of those eras, we're having females as the Grand Marshal that have served in our armed services and come back and supported those communities. So 11-11 at 11 at 5 points. They should have named it 11 points so we could have had a consistency.
Yeah. Lots of veterans waving, and people really come out and appreciate that, as well as a lot of great bands. So we'll look forward to that in downtown Franklin. Thank you so much. Mayor Moore, it's Breakfast with the Mayors, and here you are. So you've got a couple things to tell us about going on in the city of Franklin. There's a lot of material on your tables, and a lot of times we tell you to put your phone away, but there are a lot of QR codes out there today, and if you want to hit any of them, we'd appreciate that. But Mayor Moore, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the city.
So have we got a video that I'm supposed to show?
Well, you can. We're also at a disadvantage. We do not have control of the slides this morning, so we're going to play the video for Mayor Moore at this time. Let's play that.
Come, let me show you another way how to. Just scan the QR code and fill out the form. Write the names of those beside you who currently live with you. So let us add you, be counted Franklin.
Yeah, the creative forces at work.
Well, thanks to my communication department for helping us get the message out. And we are at a special census time in our city where we're counting how many people live in Franklin. Now, I want to ask you a question real quickly. If I just ask you to write your name down and the people that live in your household, and you would get $175 per person, would you do it? Sure. Well, that's what we're doing. We get state shared revenue based on our population, and there's reason to believe that our population has grown significantly since the last federal census. So it's important for everybody to be counted. Now, it's real easy for you to do that QR code or go on the city website and register, but if you are one of those people that put it off, like many of us do, the census takers will come by and visit you and knock on your door. So please complete that census. All you have to do is put your name and whoever lives in your household. Real simple. So please do that. How many people are going to do it now?
Or have done it.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, the next thing I've got, you know, one of the most common complaints we have in our city is about traffic. And of course, large population growth like we've been experiencing for 30 years creates traffic. We fund our highways, our streets in many different ways, and one of them is being attuned to grants that come from the federal government to help us fund certain things, particularly things that promote safety in our community. So we recently received a Safe Streets and Roads for All Initiatives grant to help us develop a transportation safety action plan. So on your table is another flyer that lets you do the QR code and take this survey, which helps my staff put together what a community safety action transportation plan looks like. So I would urge you to help do that as we seek additional federal money for things that enhance the safety of our citizens in Franklin. So,
right, there are a lot of pieces of paper on the table, and they're all very important, and we hope that you'll take those with you. So, Rogers and Ken, we're here celebrating Breakfast with the Mayors today, and 225th anniversary of Williamson County and Franklin, but also talking about legacy businesses in our community. We've got, and I'll introduce our panel, but I'm going to ask the mayors a question. We've got with us Matt Largent, President and CEO of Williamson Inc. We've got Jimmy Moody, co-owner of Moody Tire, Karis Campbell with the Factory at Franklin, and Maureen Thornton, the CEO of Visit Franklin. But, and Matt's going to talk a little bit about the type of business and what's important to business in our community. But Rogers, when you were first elected to the county commission, it was kind of a different business climate, right? A business industry with agriculture and other things. Tell us a little bit about that.
So when you go back and you look at our county in 1799, roll it forward, right after the Civil War, a lot of people may not realize we had more African Americans living in Williamson County than we did Caucasians. And over a period of time, and the family and I got here in about 1980, it was a town a little over 35,000, 40,000 people. And then fast forward a few years in the late 80s, early 90s, you had the mall, you had all the vision coming along, and a lot of these people that are sitting here are a result of their family starting a business and carrying it through.
And so, Matt, talk a little bit, Matt, you recently presented to the County Commission on legacy business. Yes, it was.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's fine. There you go.
There we go. Yeah, we're just going to make you scream it out loud. So, no, but you recently presented to the County Commission on kind of a business report, but talk to us a little bit about how important existing and legacy businesses are in our community.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's everything. Yeah, it's everything to the community, right? I mean, we are so lucky in Williamson County to have this great ecosystem of large and small and medium-sized businesses that really make this economy work. And, you know, small business is really what drives every economy, including Williamson County. 90% of our members have between 1 and 10 employees. Last year, we had 83 ribbon cuttings, and this year we're on pace to have over 90 ribbon cuttings. Wow. That's remarkable, truly. I think that's absolutely worth it. Because that's, you know, it's not a reflection, that's a reflection of the success of this business community and the strength of this business community as well. We welcome 250 new members this year. You can see on the slide, these are the things we're doing leading up to Small Business Saturday. That's the Saturday that's after Thanksgiving to really focus on shopping small, shopping local. Those things matters. And frankly, we do things throughout the year focused on small business as well. And you know, there's a big tie between the new large businesses that come and the impact they have on small business. I mean, those large businesses provide incomes that allow our residents to shop small, to shop local. There is an absolute tie. I'll just give one example. When In-N-Out had their regional headquarter groundbreaking a few weeks ago, they had a small business caterer as part of that event. And In-N-Out is using a local builder, Bell Construction, to build their new regional headquarter building. So there is this big tie between the large businesses we've attracted and the small businesses that really make this community grow and thrive.
And it's really a fabric. There are still small and mom and pop family-owned businesses, but also the corporations.
Yeah, it's a tapestry. I know Maureen will talk about some of the businesses on Main Street. Those are really incredibly important as well. But it's a tapestry that makes Williamson County great, and it makes this really have a vibrant, thriving, dynamic business community that we're able to create the conditions, great school system, low property taxes, no state income tax, high quality of life, great housing options. All those things play together to make this a great environment for small business, medium-sized businesses, and large businesses alike.
So, Maureen, as Matt was saying, we certainly we serve our residents with the businesses we have, providing jobs, but also we're serving our visitors, right? And they're drawn often to not just the beauty, but the businesses that are here to shop and visit.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talk about the spending that visitors do in our community, and a lot of that is in small businesses because that's what's charming and unique about what we have here. And not only does that create the tax revenue that helps us as residents, but it creates the dollars into the businesses that helps the whole system thrive.
Right, and you have a couple slides to present, and you can see them up there on Right there, they are.
Yeah, and I'm a visual learner without a clicker, so let's try this. So if you go to the next slide, it's just a reminder that while we, of course, are excited about celebrating in Franklin, it's also the anniversary for the entire county, and across the county, we've got thriving communities, incorporated and unincorporated. And then the next slide just really quickly highlights what you were asking about, Mindy, in terms of what brings visitors here and where are they spending their money, and that historic Main Street where many small business shops exist is the #1 thing that people know when they think about Franklin, and it's a place where people come. They also enjoy history, which is really relevant as we celebrate 225 years. And if you look at this next slide, you'll see we are excited about partnering with places throughout the community to celebrate things that are happening throughout the year. So just a couple of the special exhibits and events that are happening. A couple of these close soon, so make sure if you haven't been, you get out and see them. But at the main branch of the Williamson County Library, there's a special exhibit on the pioneer families, the families that have been here and have built this community. Similarly, the Williamson County Archives at 5 Points in downtown. Make sure you get a chance to visit and see. And if you all saw in the Herald, they actually have on display the founding documents of our county, which is pretty special. So get out to see that. And then this weekend at Harlansdale, the City of Franklin and Friends of Franklin Parks working together to celebrate Family Day. This last weekend was Pumpkin Fest, so hopefully many of you had a chance to get out on our actual city and county's birthday. And then some other big anniversaries. I know Karis from the factory is here, and they've been celebrating 95 years this year. And the Battles of Franklin and Spring Hill are celebrating 160 years, commemorating, I suppose, not celebrating. But that happens later in November. So there's a lot happening in terms of our history and ways to come together and celebrate that. And then I just have a couple of quick slides on ways that you as residents and we encourage visitors to get out and around and explore. You can find on our website or in our visitor center downtown these digital passports, which help people with ideas and places and ways to get around. We created a special trail for the 225th, and if you get out and experience a number of the places on there, you can bring that back and actually get a great prize in the visitor center. So we reward you for exploring our community, so check that out. And then on the next one, I love talking about the Franklin Hop Trolley, and they keep getting more and more momentum. So every time I speak to a group, I see more people who have actually taken it. So if you have in this room, if you've taken the trolley, could you just quickly raise your hand? They are now running on Saturdays starting this Saturday. So hopefully more local people will get a chance to take it. It's a 45-minute loop. It tells a great history story of our community in Franklin and beyond, stops at these places. And then I think near last, I've got just a call out that it is the 160th commemoration of the battles of Franklin and Spring Hill. And so in honor of that, the Battle of Franklin Trust has a special promotion on tickets to explore their 3 homes that they manage, Ripavilla in Spring Hill and Carton and Carter here in Franklin. You can get a combination ticket to get all of those houses, and it's about a $25 savings, so it's like getting a house tour for free. So you can stop by the visitor center in downtown Franklin and get that. Tickets are good for a year, so we hope that you will get out and explore. And then truly, last, I mentioned the visitor center. Come and visit us anytime. We, of course, use that as a way to welcome visitors to our community, but it's also a great place if you are local and looking for ideas, or if you've got friends and family coming in for the holidays and need to know what to do with them so they get out of your living room. Come down, visit us, we'll help you out. We're on 4th Avenue across from the Mercantile Deli. And then truly last, you can find us on social media in all of these places, so whichever platform you prefer, we are there and we hope you follow us.
Thank you, Maureen. So, Rogers, when we were talking about creating this program focused on legacy businesses, we were talking about some of those out in the county, like Huff's Grocery or Hatcher Farm and Dairy, Gentry Farm. Those are really the legacy of Williamson County, was strongly agricultural, and I know you remember those days.
First of all, I think most people know that our unincorporated area is still a lot of ag that goes on, and a lot of our businesses that are out there. You mentioned Hatcher Dairy, which the current owner of that, Sharon Hatcher, and her husband is Commissioner of Agriculture for the state of Tennessee. But you've got other places in Burwood. You've got plumbing and heating places. You've certainly got the Moody family that have, they located inside the city of Franklin, because I guess tractors back then didn't have a lot of tires to have to change. They were metal and wood, and a few tractors coming online. But you just look at all of the businesses. We have a organization that acknowledges long-term farms in our community, and we have several large farms that are in excess of 200 years. Now they're not by the same individual or lineage, but there'd be some marriages along the way. But those farms are still in our county, 100 and 200 years old, still doing row crops and cattle and beef and horses. And there are so many that I'm proud to acknowledge and recognize. The ag side of our business is so important in our county.
Thank you so much. It is important to our community. And we're going to talk a little bit about some specific businesses now. We're going to talk with Walker Chevrolet, which is over 100 years old. But Billy was unable to be with us this morning, so we'll share those slides with you just really quickly and go through those. There's Billy and his GM, Brock Daly, at Walker. Also, just to go through these really quickly to see where they have been on Main Street, where Binks is now located. And then also they were on Columbia Avenue, across from Moody in the 1960s. But before that, they were a tire competitor there, Jimmy. I don't know. Walker Tire started in 1926. So this is, and Billy Walker Sr., he was really active in our community, a lot of scouting association there. Also, this was when they were on Columbia Avenue, where the police station is currently located. And then also, that's the dealership today on Carruthers Parkway. So we congratulate them on their longtime business. Karis Campbell, the historian at the factory at Franklin, you all just did something unique in celebrating 95 years of the factory. And it's really a new time at the factory as well. But tell us a little bit about those 95 years of the factory at Franklin.
Right. So on October 14th, 1929, we began construction at the factory at Franklin. So just a few weeks ago, we celebrated 95 years. It was a really big milestone celebration for us. So beyond having a commemorative walking tour on the day itself, we also invited former employees of Allen Manufacturing Company, Dortch Stove Works, Magic Chef Inc., and Jameson Bedding Company to join us for a barbecue lunch. We were blessed with beautiful weather after a kind of rough weekend. So it was really exciting to get to hear the stories from folks that used to work there and see how they reflected on the space as it's evolved today. So on the slide right now, you can see those 4 companies and the eras they operated at the factory. Starting 1929 with Allen Manufacturing Company. Really excited to break into a new community that was largely agricultural in nature, so tapping in a new labor market. But it really was the efforts of the citizens of Franklin to raise the money to bring the plant to town that really kicked off our relationship with one another. Then next to them, you'll see Dortch Stove Works, who took over when Allen struggled during the Great Depression, led us not just through that time, but also World War II. And Matt, when you talk about the impact large businesses can have on a community, it reminds me of a story I was reading recently where the chamber requested that Dortch Stove Works pay their employees in silver dollars. And the next week, they ran an ad in the paper that said, hey, if you handled a silver dollar today, that probably came from Dortch Stove Works, just to show how impactful a large industrial partner like Dortch Stove Works could be when it was really new to the community. So just showing how much of an impact those large employers can have on the small communities like Franklin. Then around the mid-century, you'll see that Magic Chef took over the reins, and that's actually the period during which the city of Franklin purchased the plant, trying to keep it open a little bit longer, give them a discount on rent. And then that last company there, you'll see Jameson Bedding Company, our longest running manufacturing tenant. And the name I think most folks around town will remember today. And they were definitely the largest represented employees that we had at our reunion on the 14th. Then after we ended our industrial era, you can see that we had a little bit of a hairy run around the early 90s when the factory was not in great shape. But I think those pictures really tell the story of the effort that Calvin and Marilyn Lahue went into renovating that campus, turning it into this amazing local community hub that focused on the creative, artistic, and local businesses we have here in town. So right now I'm representing Holiday Properties. In the next slide you'll see our view of the frontscape, really working to bring back some of those historic view sheds, but also to activate outdoor spaces and really revitalize a space that was kind of losing steam around the pandemic. So our first phase is kind of drawing to a close these days. We've really focused on adding new businesses, supporting the ones that are already there. So there you'll see some of the businesses that have been open for a while this year, including Hattie B's and Daddy's Dogs. But we're also looking to add more entertainment and activation opportunities. So in the middle, you'll see a miniature Eiffel Tower, and that was to celebrate the Olympics back in the summer. So it was really fun to get to have that amazing moment celebrating our athletes with the community in the Grand Hall. We have had a couple of new openings too. Oh, there is our anniversary, so the walking tour on your right, and then that was some of the Jameson Bedding Company's employees on the left. So again, really exciting to get to share that momentous anniversary with some of the people that made it what it was. Then the next slide, this has been a busy month for us, so beyond us celebrating an anniversary, we'll have some businesses start celebrating their anniversaries as well. So Stella Rhodes opened on Friday of last week. That's a women's boutique. And then everyone's favorite, Sapphire, they opened early last week. So if you need a lunch spot today, I highly recommend. The outdoor patio will be amazing under the water tower. And then Etched Fine Dining, their Nashville-based restaurant, they actually opened yesterday. So a lot of fun things to explore at the factory this month. And then on the next slide, I think most of y'all met the wonderful ladies at Studio 10. They had a booth today. They just wrapped their fantastic show, Little Shop of Horrors, where they're going to open their Christmas show, $1 Million Quartet, in December. Having seen the first play last year, I cannot wait for the second one. I hope I see y'all all there too. And then later this year, we'll have Nick and Maud join us. That is a custom hatware and women's boutique as well. And then I did not have their image, but Two Hands Australian cafe-style dining will open next month as well. And then finally, we'll wrap up. We have a lot of excitement coming for the holidays. We're excited to celebrate. So if you'd love to have another wonderful picture like this amazing picture with Santa and this little girl, Santa will be at the factory. We'll also be in the Christmas parade the first weekend in December. So you'll see some fun factory icons on our float. Maybe a water tower will appear, maybe not. You'll have to attend to see. And then we're also really excited in the next phase to be opening the Carousel of Dreams. That is Ken Means Carousel. If you've ever been to the factory before, you might remember seeing those amazing carvings when you first walked in. So we're excited to be partnering with him to launch that carousel. If you've been around Behind the Mockingbird, you might know we're not going to hit our fall 24 opening date. But we're hopeful for spring of next year. Really excited to offer that to community and to partner with the nonprofit we're launching. So a portion of those proceeds will go to charitable organizations in Williamson County. So we're excited to have those missions tied together and to celebrate some amazing art here in Williamson County. So with that, I'll wrap up with our social slides as well. There's always fun updates going on there, new things to learn about the factory. But it's just been really exciting to be a part of this amazing chapter in the factory's life of giving new life, but respecting the history as well.
Yes, and it really has become kind of a gathering place. People go and spend time just sitting in the skylight area there in the factory because you can do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? And
you could spend the whole day there if you wanted to. I wouldn't mind.
And grab a show as well. So, I mean, I think you see adaptive reuse like it's happening at the factory, but business is adaptive as well, and what people want and what they're seeing there. So that's exciting. So we were talking about businesses that are legacies, and obviously for many of us who've lived in Franklin for a while, that's synonymous with saying Moody Tire. And we've got Jimmy Moody with us today to talk a little bit about Moody Tire, which I said was 75 years old, but you corrected me, right?
It's 80 years.
80 years, great. So this is really a family business, and not just the ownership of this, but your employees and your customers really feel, you try to make them feel like part of the family, right?
That's correct.
So talk us through a little bit about the history of Moody Tire.
So good morning, I'm Jimmy Moody. I'm third generation Moody's Tire and Auto Service. We started in 1944 on Main Street here in Franklin, and you can see that that's our store. Right close to where Taziki's is today, somewhere in that area is where we were. My two uncles, two great uncles, Tom and Ed, that's them right there, they started the business. Tom was there while Ed was in World War II, and he would send money back to Tom, and they got the store running. These two guys are hard workers. They would do recapping, which we don't see much of anymore, but they would build and make these tires for the customers, and they'd go in the middle of the night and flip the tires over so that they could cook evenly on all sides. And then in the 60s, we moved out of downtown Franklin on Columbia Avenue, where Walker Chevrolet was as well. We had expanded our business, and I don't know how good a tire automotive repair would work in downtown Franklin today. So I think that was a good move. And talking about the agriculture, you know, that's really a lot of what we did as well. We would go out, we would do a lot of agriculture, a lot of farm tires. Our company was built on credit, agriculture, pay us when you sell your tobacco, pay us when, you know, you sell whatever you're making. Then in 2016, we expanded to our second location. We're in Cool Springs now. So that's been an adventure. There we are. And today we are 80 years old. We had Goodyear come out and celebrate with us, and that's my family. And we flew around town. Some might have seen that, and we made a big celebration. So
what's the secret to longevity in a business like what you do? It's a true service industry. What do you think is the secret to longevity in that?
Adapting with the times. I mean, again, we were agriculture. We were big agriculture. We used to recap, but as our farms have turned into neighborhoods, you know, Berry Farm, Ladd Park, you know, those are a bunch of homes now, a lot of people moving here, so we've shifted from more agriculture to consumer and just learning how to adapt with the times, you know.
How many customers would you say a year? I mean, you see a lot of people come through Moody, right?
Yeah, we probably see
Mike.
Customers that come through every day. I mean, we probably see 100, 120 customers a day.
Who's the longest time employee at Moody Tire now?
Currently, our longest tenured employee is 35 years.
35 years. Wow. That's a long time. Rogers?
Correct him.
Uh-oh.
His daddy.
Yeah, probably his dad.
That is right. Yeah, so my dad is still active in the business.
I don't need him to write you out of the will.
Yeah.
I didn't consider him an employee. He's the owner. So he's been working there since
he
he was
works
12.
for you now. He may not realize it, but he does.
That's debatable.
It's true.
I think, you know, I mentioned earlier we had 83 ribbon cuttings last year, 90 this year. I think this is a good reminder that there are families behind every one of those businesses, right? And if you think about the business community and the residential community, it's the same. I mean, small business is what drives it. And one of the things I've learned being in this job in 12 years is that when you have these ribbon cuttings and you see the kids there, and there's a lot of emotion involved because having a small business is like raising another child. And I think that's always important to realize that there are families behind these businesses that have made and continue to make Williamson County a great place to live and invest.
And it's true. There are families behind all these businesses. Karis, at the factory, you're seeing a lot of people realizing a dream, I guess, of opening a business in a place that is familiar to them a little bit.
Right, so we have a number of long-term tenants. I know Third Coast Clay just celebrated their 25th anniversary in July, as well as Times Past and Present. So those are some of the staple tenants that have been with us for a long time. But then you also have some new openings, like with White Alligator, which is amazing Louisiana cuisine. The chef is from Louisiana, but's relocated here, so he gets to be part of the community now, serving really good food, really authentic to where he's from. And then you also have some surprise openings, people that are really excited to be in the area and to be part of the factory, which feels like a little miniature hub of Franklin just up the road too.
Yeah, so that's great. So also, Matt, we do see people continuing to come here, and we have a high level of entrepreneurs in our community, right? Talk a little bit about the entrepreneurial
Yeah,
spirit.
we do. I think the last number we checked is about 21% of our workforce is made up of entrepreneurs. And I think, too, you know, since in the post-COVID world more people are working remotely or working hybrid, we see entrepreneurship as being a big part of this community. We opened an entrepreneur center in partnership with the Heritage Foundation, I guess now 3 or 4 years ago, and have 6 businesses in there that are growing their business and hopefully grow out of that space and create more jobs for the community. I think it's also important, too, to note that when we recruit a Mitsubishi or an In-N-Out, they come here to hire us. We were with the Mitsubishi CEO a few weeks ago, and he talked about the fact that 85% of that workforce has been hired locally. In-N-Out will be the same thing. They bring a core group of management here, but they hire us locally, and it's because of our public school system and our school ecosystem, and the fact that we have a really high education rate that drives these companies to hire the people, and the people are driven here by the strength of our school systems.
That's so true. Now, Maureen, you didn't even say this number today, but tourism and these businesses that are here, people return to see them time and time again, but tourism is impacting us as residents in a positive manner, right?
Yeah, I mentioned earlier that the visitors come and they spend money in all kinds of businesses, especially our small businesses and restaurants. In 2023, the numbers that we have from the state of Tennessee is that visitors spent over $1.3 billion in Williamson County in 2023, billion with a B, which generates tax revenue, which then goes to alleviate some of what we would otherwise have to pay. And that number grows year over year, and last year was just over $1,600 per household in Williamson County that is saved based on revenue generated by visitor spending.
So if the traffic is too much, it's just blame it on the visitors. Let's just blame it on the visitors, for sure. So what do you see coming in business in the future? We talked, Matt, you mentioned the pandemic and more people working from home, but also I see a lot of co-working spaces being developed and gathering spots like Karis has at the factory. So what's ahead for business, do you think?
Yeah, definitely seeing co-working space. Certainly, I think the factory plays a critical role in places together. That's important for people. I think we'll continue to be a great location for corporate headquarters. I mean, that's, right now, I'll be honest, our pipeline's a bit slow of companies looking because I really think people don't exactly know what to do with their office space yet. We thought that hybrid work had won. We're not really sure about that. People probably saw Amazon requiring their employees, everybody to be back in the office in January. We'll see what that does to the office space. And I also think there's still a lot of uncertainty in the economy so close to an election. But all the factors that were in place before that make Williamson County and Franklin a great place for headquarters remain there as well. And so when things get back to some level of whatever normalcy is, I think, and I know we'll continue to be an attractive place for corporate headquarters.
That's great. That's great. So, Jimmy, even though the electric cars are coming, they still need tires, right? Is that true?
That's correct. And all these visitors that are coming to Franklin, they have flat tires too. So.
Well, thank you so much to our panel this morning, and thank you for telling us about business in Williamson County. So, although October is almost over, you can still learn more about the community's history. You can scan this QR code to watch the Franklin First United Methodist video series, or if you wish, visit the Williamson County Archives at 5 Points for the event that Maureen spoke of, titled Williamson County, One County, Many Stories, and that exhibit will be in place and is free. It's in place through January 3rd. Now, Mayor, we did introduce some of the elected officials who were here earlier, but maybe they were here because what is a week from today? There's a little thing in our county. It's election day. So early voting continues through October 31st, and Election Day is Tuesday, November 5th. And we encourage you to vote early or to vote on Election Day 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And we encourage you to cast your ballot for the candidates of your choice. Matt and his team have done a great job this election season of providing information on candidates. And tell us that website.
Yeah, so if you want to go, everything election related, it's williamsonchamber.com/vote. We have a list of early voting locations, day of, and we also have Meet the Candidates series, where in-depth conversations with everybody running for office, moderated by Tom Lawrence. So check it out. That's on our Facebook Live archive page. We can get there through williamsonchamber.com/vote.
Great. So thank you all so much, and we hope you go out and make it a great day. And don't forget to follow all those QR codes that you have with you today. Thanks for being here, and have a great day.